You think you decided to keep watching this? You didn't. Not first. Your brain committed to staying about 7 seconds before the feeling of choosing ever reached you. Here are 7 things your brain settles before you show up to take the credit. 7 real experiments, each one about the machinery inside your own skull, climbing from a third of a second to the finale. The one where your brain doesn't just decide without you, it lies to you about who decided. Number 1. Your brain starts the movement before you know you want to move. In 1983, a scientist named Benjamin Libet sat people in front of a fast clock and told them to flick their wrist whenever they felt like it, then report the exact moment they consciously chose. Simple. Except when he wired their scalps, he found a spike of electrical activity, the readiness potential, building about a third of a second before they reported deciding. The command to move was already rolling downhill before "I'll move now" arrived. Your first-person sense of choosing wasn't the trigger. Number 2. A scanner can call your decision before you can. Libet's third of a second was unsettling enough. Then, in 2008, a team led by John Dylan Haynes put people in an fMRI machine and asked them to press a left or right button whenever they wanted. By reading the pattern in the frontal cortex, the researchers could predict which button, left or right, up to 7 to 10 seconds before the person felt they'd made up their mind. 10 seconds. That's not a nudge. That's your decision finished, sealed, and waiting for the conscious you to be handed the paperwork and told it was your idea. Number 3. Your body knows the answer while your mind is still guessing. The neuroscientist Antonio Damasio ran a card game called the Iowa Gambling Task. 4 decks, 2 rigged to slowly bankrupt you, 2 safe. Players didn't consciously figure out which decks were bad until around draw 80, but hook them to a sweat sensor, and their palms started spiking with stress at the bad decks around draw 10. Their hands knew 50 cards before their reasoning did. Damasio called these gut flags somatic markers, and it means that bad feeling you can't explain is often your body voting long before the debate reaches your head. Number 4. Whether you get mercy can depend on lunch. In 2011, researchers led by Shai Danziger studied over 1,000 real parole decisions from experienced judges. They expected the rulings to track the crime, the record, the case. Instead, the clearest pattern was the clock. Right after a food break, judges granted parole around 65% of the time. As the hours ground on and hunger crept in, approval slid toward 0, then jumped back up the moment the judge ate again. The prisoner didn't change. The evidence didn't change. Blood glucose changed. A tired, hungry brain defaults to the safe no and dresses it up afterward as careful judgment. Number 5. Your brain grabs the first number in the room and won't let go. Tversky and Kahneman spun a wheel of fortune rigged to stop on either 10 or 65, let people watch it land, then asked a totally unrelated question: what percentage of countries in the United Nations are African? People who saw 10 guessed around 25%. People who saw 65 guessed around 45. A meaningless number from a carnival wheel dragged their estimate toward it. It's called anchoring, and it's why the first price you see reshapes what expensive feels like all day. Your brain doesn't reason from 0, it reasons from whatever it saw last. Number 6. What your hand is holding rewrites what you think of a person. In 2008, John Barg and Lawrence Williams had people briefly hold a cup of coffee, hot for some, iced for others, while riding an elevator. Before reading about a stranger and judging their character, the ones who'd held the warm cup rated the stranger as noticeably warmer, more generous, more caring. Same description, same stranger. The only difference was the temperature in their palms seconds earlier. Your brain quietly borrows physical warmth and spends it as social warmth, and you file the verdict under my honest read of that person. Number 7. When your brain doesn't know why you did something, it makes up a reason and believes it. This is the one that should keep you up. In split-brain patients, whose brain hemispheres are surgically disconnected, researchers can flash an instruction to the right hemisphere only: walk. and the person stands and walks. Ask them why, and the left hemisphere, which never saw the instruction, doesn't say, "I don't know." It says, smoothly, "I wanted a drink." It invents a reason and delivers it with total confidence. And it's not just split brains. In choice blindness experiments, people pick the more attractive of two faces, and the researcher secretly swaps the photo for the one they rejected. Most people don't notice, and then happily explain, in detail, why they chose the face they actually turned down. "I liked her smile." A smile on a person they didn't pick. So here is what all 7 add up to. The readiness potential fires. The scanner reads your choice 10 seconds early. Your palms sweat, your blood sugar votes, an anchor tugs, a warm cup tips the scale, and only then does a voice in your head step forward and announce, with total conviction, that it decided. That voice isn't the chooser, it's the narrator, arriving after the fact, to explain a decision already made. You didn't decide to watch this to the end. You're just the one who got told a story about why you did.